get our stream going. Okay, so this says we are live. Hello, chat. Let me just log in and make sure that everything is going good and we are live and kicking it, and we are. Excellent. So, interesting story. Okay, so not interesting, but I have a 4-year-old son who plays our Switch from time to time. And what that results in is my hard work and labor getting just wrecked and reset. So I have had to replay through most of Ultimate Alliance 3. Fortunately, if you watched my review on the channel, you know that I love this game. And yeah, we're already back at Adelan. It's, you know, I'll say that Ultimate Alliance 3 does not have the longest story of the Ultimate Alliances, I think. And Ultimate Alliance 2 definitely lent itself more to replays because you know, there was Act 1, 2, and 3 essentially in the game, and while Act 1 and 3 are the same regardless of your choices, there was 2A and 2B, right? Cap or Tony. And that led to more replays, but here we are, rocking some linear storytelling in Ultimate Alliance 3. The one thing I will say I'm really excited about in Ultimate Alliance 3 and the way that they've structured the story is because of it being linear. The DLC that they're adding, now I don't think the Cyclops Colossus edition on the 31st or the 30th is going to be anything like big, but I will be reviewing the characters and probably streaming some gameplay. I don't think that's going to add anything to the game's overall story, but the DLC, they've said, adds new scenarios, new missions, so I do actually think that they will have a story for... Oh, I love Medusa and Black Bolt. I do think that they will have a story. So, like, when Marvel Knights comes out, right, there's a title to it, and it's like Night of the Vampire or whatever, and Morbius is in it. So I do think that there will be an arcing story in that, even if it's like a quarter the size of the main game story, that, you know, or even less. Even if it's just a single, like, go there and here's a story mission, it's still something fun to play. Alright. I'm gonna pause it up here. I just want to make sure that whatever is going on with my computator is resolved, and we are back and hitting it whenever, you know, whenever my computer wants to load. If that's something it wants to do, that would be nice. As I was saying before that, I am really excited about the story. There we go. Okay, so we are back. We are live. Let's get back to the story. Yeah, I'm really excited about the expansions and what those may or may not add to the story. I think that's probably the most exciting thing about the expansions, not the likely 4 characters at least in each set that'll be coming out, but the idea of more story to play through. So, you know, one thing I'm not a fan of DLC-wise in the original Ultimate Alliance games was that feeling of like, hey, here's 4 more characters. Play through the same story you remember playing through multiple times. I might actually take a pass on it if that was the case. So I love the way they're doing it. Is just summarize that.
My father. Turns out he's a maniacal alien warlord bent on universal domination. For some reason, he really wants me dead.
And this, minor spoiler, but this is actually why I said it's based more on the comics than you think it is. Like, Thane is obviously not in the movies. That's a long, convoluted story. That's one thing that I do think the Marvel movies suffer from, that, you know, video games don't, because video games can do this. But the okay, so if we wanted Thane in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the Infinity Stone plotline, we have to establish who the Inhumans are. There was that terrible TV show that had like 2 really good actors in it, and the rest of, I mean, the plot of the show was really hard to watch. And so you have to introduce that, you have to introduce Adelan, you have to introduce all those concepts before you can even get in. And they partially did it, right? They had Inhumans on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and the Terrigen pills or whatever, the fish pills that were going out everywhere. But yeah, it would be a lot to introduce all at once. I'm not as big a Miss Marvel fan as I think some people are. First off, Carol Danvers is always going to be Miss Marvel to me. You can change your name to Captain Marvel, but she's always going to be Miss Marvel to me. That's what I grew up reading her as, right? Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel. I love Marvel. Like, I grew up reading the Avengers comics, and so like the Kree Skrull War and Marvel and the, you know, Nitro killing him and stuff was just, it was a big to do. Plus he's like one of the only comic book characters that has essentially remained dead, and so why does his title have to get put on to someone else? That's the thing that I don't get. And with how much respect Captain America had for Marvel, it was really weird that, like, hey, Carol, even though you're not actually Kree, why don't you take up his mantle? And I don't know. Miss Marvel was her own character. She had no, like, battlefield suit. I just liked her. I preferred that over Captain, even though she is an actual Captain. And the short hair, really just kind of meh. So then having Miss Marvel be young Kamala Khan, I really don't get that, because she has no relation other than being a super fan to be Miss Marvel, and she adopted the streak on her chest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound super get off my lawn about it, but I really miss old school Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, and no Kamala Khan, who to me is like a less cool version of Reed Richards. You know, she can do pretty much stuff Reed can do, but she's way less smart, way less interesting to me. I keep coming back to how much I love the look of this game, and one of the reasons is you, I think, would have a really hard time doing horse-hooved, you know, horse-hooved, crazy-looking characters like this in Ultimate Alliance 2's art style. You just would. Is it just me, or does Black Bolt look really white and pale there? How many times, if you guys are big comic book readers, how many times in the comics has Maximus had to, like, get put down, essentially, but he never gets killed because it's his brother, and it's like, okay, I loved my brother, but there's only so many times I can handle assassination and usurping attempts before I'm just like, this guy's never gonna get it. I really like Elsa Bloodstone this game too. I think they did a really good job with that character. And if my hope is correct, usually they, you know, when they bring in characters like that, it's with the idea that they're going to be a thing at some point. And if DC is slacking on their Justice League Dark, I would really like to see a Marvel, not like Justice League Dark, but a monster hunting team. You know, they announced new Blade. Let's get Elsa Bloodstone. Let's get Vampire Spitfire in there. Let's see some Captain Britain. Let's get Vampire Land. That storyline from Captain Britain in MI13. That was a great storyline. Union Jack. Love his cloak. If anyone has a link to where I can get that cloak, drop it in the comments section. I've been doing leveling a little bit differently this time, where I just stick with people and then switch to some under-leveled people. And what that does is create these really interesting valleys of the game suddenly just got really hard because I'm using characters that are super under-leveled. You can go do some Infinity Trials and stuff to get those levels. I like keeping my characters balanced. Realistically, though, I guess, if you didn't mind playing through it over and over, you probably could play through the story 8 times, right? Just with a different group of, like, 8 characters. There's just so many characters in this game. I know they gave you these experience cubes as a way of saying, hey, if you want to power level some of your characters, you can, but I really don't even think you get enough cubes to keep more than a character or 2 relevant. And I am begrudgingly using Miles Morales. I've went into this before. I really dislike Miles Morales. You could have given me Miguel. That would have been much cooler. Spider-Man 2099 is way cooler than Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's like common knowledge at this point. Is there a reason that these are designed? I forget that. Usually on these like linear maps, there's a reason that you can go off to the left or right. To the throne room. Maximus is a weird Inhuman. He to me is kind of like Forge from the X-Men. There we go. He's kind of like Forge from the X-Men. He can just build stuff. It's not like he's, you know, Black Bolt and cracking moons in half with a whisper. Gotta get his stagger gauge down quick. There we go. It's been covered a million times, but if you can get those synergies popping, like, frequently, you can fairly easily get, that stagger gauge to pop. And that's something that I actually think a few of the reviews have said this is better single player. I don't think it's better single player. I think it's easier single player. The thing that I find weird about the reviews for this game, and I kind of want to do a review the reviewer series, is the reviews are like, the game is too easy, but we were playing on solo, which is definitely easier. I don't get it. If you were playing co-op, like I watched Angry Joe's stream for quite a bit, they died a lot. A lot. And it wasn't, you know, where he said there were gulfs of difficulty. That did not feel good. So there are gulfs of difficulty. I definitely see that. There we go. Stun. I see the gulfs of difficulty. I understand that complaint. But at the same time, those gulfs of difficulty are likely because you were doing what Angry Joe was doing, and that was swapping out characters every couple of seconds, really. Like, every time they find a shield point, they would be like, let's swap out, you know, 3 quarters of our party. God, I'm getting wrecked. This is what you get for not playing your optimal team, by the way. I gotta get into my shield. There we go. Alright, let's get this stun gauge down. There we go, and let's pop off our ultimates again. Ultimates in this game look cooler, I think. Another stun, nice. But they definitely did not have the impact that other ultimates had, and I think, I have to be honest, I think that makes me like them more, because the old ultimates used to be like boss killing moves, and that seems cool in theory. Everyone's gonna look at that and be like, yes, that's what I want. It's really not though. So ultimates here are more about, I would say, I want to say the synergy, but yes, I do want to say the synergy. I think the ultimates here are more, balance is definitely not the word either. They just feel better, right? So if all these characters are superheroes and they're meant to feel super, then it's really nice to me that the super moves themselves are not a one-hit cure-all for fighting these boss fights and stuff. Gamora was almost down that. And that's kind of how they were in Ultimate Alliance 2, you know, you just build up that meter and then you'd save one or two of those, and then you'd get in a boss battle and you'd do Lightning Tornado with Thor and Storm, or, you know, Fire Tornado, and call it a day. Boom, done. That's how a boss is taken care of.
No, but I'm starting to learn that there are more. Only my parents, even if existence ends.
Fascinated to find out. I scrutinized a sample of the amber, being generated in a sealed globe.
I think Beast is, I've said this for a long time, now that Marvel owns the rights to the X-Men characters again, I hope Feige listens to the pleas of the true fans. Take it back to the original X-Men. Stop with Wolverine, stop with throwing in characters like Psylocke or Gambit. Just stop. Go back to the original. Ooh. Why is he wearing the mask, though? That's what I wonder in this game. Why is he wearing the mask? The mask is the Winter Soldier thing, not the Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier thing. But go back to the originals. Give us Beast and Iceman and Angel and Scott and Jean as kids, you know? That give us OG X-Men, please. Beast is such an underrated character. I love Hank. It's gonna be really hard for whoever takes on that role to do better than as much as I despise the Fox X-Men films. We cannot deny how powerful Kelsey Grammer as Beast really is. Like, just his mannerisms are so Beast-like. You're like, Frasier meets Beast. Yep, that's it. Beast is Frasier, just less of a pompous jerk. I do like that Falcon in this game is just Falcon instead of Falcon Cap. I miss that comic book relationship too. If you guys ever caught Ed Brubaker, fantastic, probably one of the best comic book writers. He did the storyline of Captain America that essentially reinvigorated the series, right? He brought back the Winter Soldier, he brought Cap back to the modern days, like post New Avengers, and the Bucky and Natasha relationship, literal relationship, was a really good really good arc in that.
It's a risk we have to take if we want to recover the final infinity. Good question. You should have landed.
Alright, let's search some, actually, you know what? Speaking of keeping characters balanced, I believe someone here is 28 or 27 or something like that. Let's pop out. I'm not the biggest Ghost Rider fan either, so... do we have any 25s still? Yes, we do. So, goodbye, Miles. Hello, Spider-Gwen. I don't really care for Spider-Gwen either. This game has too many spider characters. Spider-Man's like one of my favorite characters, so for me to say that this game has far too many spider characters, that is telling you that you need to dial back on the spider. Sadly, I think I'm going to end up with Deadpool on this team because I'll probably end up playing, let's go Nightcrawler here. Oh, and I just happen to get 3 sword or knife characters on the team too. Why do we need so many sword or knife character people? Nightcrawler is an interesting tier of character who does really good single target damage, really good overall, synergies as well. And his burst ability or his dash ability is just solid. He's just a solid character. I will say in X-Men Legends, he was probably a mainstay on my team because he had such great powers. I remember in that game he had like a second chance ability or whatever, where if you weren't controlling him, and maybe even if you were, but I definitely know if you weren't, I would leave him on autopilot. He had a percentage chance with a passive ability to teleport and save someone's life if they would get KO'd. And I thought that was like the neatest ability in the game. What a cool passive. Because it's super Nightcrawler to have that, ability. And at the same time, like, okay, so you've got the thematic, yes. What do we got here? You got the thematic, yes, and at the same time, it was just a powerful ability. Oh, man. Should I try this? Should we look to try this, even though we're way under leveled for it? Yes, let's do it. Outside of this, for those who don't know, Ben and I design and publish board games. We have a Kickstarter coming up on Tuesday. So I may actually be streaming even more because it mitigates my stress immensely. I love being able to just sit down, play games, and for anyone that is watching on YouTube or whatever, be able to have a conversation with myself and the camera, and if you're listening, you. Alright, Pre-Justice, let's see how this goes. This is, if you're going to do something under-leveled in this game, at least do it with characters you know that have good synergy, that have the ability to really lay some smack down on these fools. I do not have that kind of team built right now. And whenever I've done the difficult Infinity challenges, even the ones of my level, it's usually a great idea to have, your mainstay characters, the characters can put the hurt, on someone like Ronan here. I gotta get some health orbs. I walked right into that. You guys saw that, right? I walked right into that. And dodged out of. Health orbs. Nope. Nope. Don't care for that. For that. There we go. Let's get it. Ultimate Extreme, baby. Alright. Second stage. Holy Mac. Holy Mac. No. My Breath of the Wild was not deleted by my son. That would be terrible when you 100% a game like Breath of the Wild. Didn't happen overnight, to then possibly have that deleted. But you know what? I did make him his own save on Breath of the Wild because he is very much in love with that game. I would bet hard money he wants to be Link or something for Halloween this year. And he deleted over his own save, starting a new save. So, like, I got him the Great Plateau stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'll just let my son play it and sit on the Great Plateau. The Great Plateau is an awesome introductory area. There's nothing too difficult on there. No concepts that he'd have a hard time with. Let's just leave him on the Great Plateau, right? Nope. He deleted over that. I spent time getting him, the cold outfit, you know, cooking for the former king, the king's spirit. Getting him the cold outfit. Oh yeah, we are done. 2 Nebulas and Ronin. That's game, set, and match, man. I don't even know what Deadpool's moves are. I end up putting him in my party and I never use him because I just don't like Deadpool. But yeah, I got my son all the opening shrines, filled his inventory with weapons and arrows and bows that I just found moving around on the plateau, and he saved over it. At that point, I was like, yep, I'm out. I'm not putting any more time into getting you anything in this damn game. You're gonna get it yourself. And that is another interesting thing about this game, by the way. The load screens are bonkers long. And they set at 90%. Ben and I had a conversation about 90%. That final 10% is very hard to achieve for this game. Other Switch games. Interesting. So in 16 days, or 15 days, depending, I will be playing Astral Chain addictively. And then, like, 2 weeks after that, not even, I think. Oh, no, it's 2 weeks after that, because it's the 13th, right? Borderlands and Daemon X Machina come out. Oh, it is going to be a good month for video games. And I can't wait. Borderlands is a game that'll probably peak and keep my interest because that's another game where the stories are all kind of okay, but I love playing through as the different characters in that because of the skill trees. I cannot wait. And there are 3 of the 4 characters I'm really excited for. All the while, by the way, with those 2 games coming out, all the while, there will be 2 DLC that come out for this game. So,
I am told that Abe only worships science, but
no?
many of you believe in the goddess. Now would be the time to start praying.
The puns on these character cards are just sublime. I'm gonna make a prediction. I feel like Iceman is, just based on some of the stuff in the game already, I feel like Iceman is a shoo-in for that X-Men team. I don't know if Beast will be. I know people keep saying Beast will be because Beast has a character in the game already and animations in the game already. But here's the thing. I believe that based on the characters spread the way it is, and Marvel Knights being all male. Oh, look at that. You got a guy shooting at me from literally within the rock. Best camouflage ever. I believe that they'll even it out. That's my honest to God belief, is that they will even it out. X-Men might even be an all-female pack, if I'm being honest. And that might be why they gave out Scott and then Pietro on the 31st for free. Because Marvel Knights is an all-dude pack, and as much as you can rail against, you know, inclusivity to have inclusivity, the X-Men have such a massive roster that if you told me the pack coming out was Emma Frost, Jean Grey, Kitty Pryde, and, you know, who... X-23, Prism, you know, someone Surge, someone new and current and popular, female-wise, I would not be shocked. One bit, I would not be shocked. Because at that point, the game would already have, I know he's not an X-Men, okay, but it would already have, mutant-wise, Deadpool, Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus, Nightcrawler, you know, I would be very sad if Iceman does not make it in the game. Because diversity of powers would say that Iceman is a great addition to the game. I do think that Emma Frost and Jean would be arguably great additions to the game based on their characters in X-Men Legends. Well, and Jean in Ultimate Alliance 2. Which was weird, because Jean was not even around for Civil War, but it's the video games, do whatever you want to do. Yep. Storm joins the Alliance. And of course she'll join at like level 40 or whatever, 30, 40, so I will not need to use her, because she's way too powerful for me.
It is good. I have long shared a special bond with King.
Yeah, she has been married to him before.
For the same reason you would dare try to. No. Then
Yeah, so I'm not saying that X-Men is going to be all female. I'm saying I would not be. That's not the right move. I need to. Do we have two shooty moves? Yep. There we go. Nope. Deadpool, what do you got? There we go. Hey. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, I would not be shocked. I'm not saying it will be, like I said, you know, there's the real problem, right, when you announce a Marvel Knights pack, there is only so many Marvel Knights characters, and so it's really easy for people to suss out, like, God, Punisher would make a good addition, or Moon Knight, Blade. It's a little harder when you get into, like, X-Men to suss out who the four are going to be. We know who it's not going to be, but that means really very little given the fact that the X-Men roster is, like, massive. Hell, you could put in, they have Magneto in the game. Given the amount of repetition in certain characters' power sets, you could put in Polaris and Havoc. Right? Jean, Polaris, Havoc, Iceman. There you go. There's the whole pack. Now we have a double date team up of Cyclops, Jean, and Alex, and Lorna. There you go. Done. And Fantastic Four. I think it goes without saying. People believe they know who's in the Fantastic Four set. Weird, right? It's totally Franklin Richards, not Reed. Yeah, I think people would riot if they were like, hey, we're giving you the Fantastic Four set minus Mr. Fantastic. So I think there's at least 4 characters in every pack, and I wouldn't be shocked if the X-Men pack had more or had unconventional, sort of unconventional in terms of the composition. Of course, none of my characters can fly. I suppose I should just activate this then. Grenade throwing AIM troops. How dare you? I really like, I don't think I've said enough, I really like the stagger system in this game. Just as to make some characters, you know, delineated differently than, say, a bullet sponge. Because the stagger gauge definitely, you know, it stuns them when you hit it correctly. And at the same time, I know most characters deal increased damage against characters that are staggered. There are just so many benefits to the combat system for having staggered present in the game at all. Oop, treasure chest. Ooh, purple ISO 8, rare. I just love the way Nightcrawler runs with his swords. Everyone knows you run faster when you run like that. When Nightcrawler says his tale has just begun, I immediately jump to the conclusion that he must be making a terrible pun. Who needs to block the attacks? Let's just wreck it. Ralph style. Boom. I do really like that ability from Spider-Gwen. The other thing I will definitely say is because this is an X-Men Legends 2 or 1, the lack of altering moves, I actually prefer it. I genuinely do. I put this in my review. I prefer having only 4 moves per character. I think, like, as weird as it is to compare, but like a MOBA game, I just think that it gives, you know, characters that are similar some diversity. I could be wrong, but, you know. Yeah, I did see Ben, I watched earlier Ben's Magic the Gathering online stream, and I have to be honest with you, I am very tempted to jump back in casually, because there are few things I love doing more than discussing game theory and design with Ben, so the idea of talking new Magic sets is, you know, probably about as good as it gets. I am going to have some videos scheduled to go up, but Ben and I are going to be at a convention next Thursday evening. I might stream, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will be at 2DCon here in Minneapolis. And that should be a lot of fun. Video games, board games. We'll be there for our board game company, but I don't anticipate that there won't be some video game playing or perusing on our part. Though we will be mid-Kickstarter campaign, so that'll be a thing as well. But I mean, it's always nice to look around. You know, they have a lot of retro games on sale there. I'm not really big on picking up retro games because I've played them all growing up. I'm not a collector at all. In fact, people in the board game industry will tell you that I am super annoying with that. I have a large Calyx shelf, and most people have multiple that are full of board games. My board game collection just gets trimmed and trimmed and trimmed the longer that I've been in the industry. And video games are kind of the same thing. My old consoles get traded in for the new consoles. I'm someone who... Ooh. I'm someone who likes the experience of playing through games. So there are very few games, like on the Nintendo Switch, for instance, games we played that have been beaten that have actually been kept. Mario Party, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. This, there are just few games. Like, I played through Fire Emblem since it came out, and we'll have some thoughts up on that this week, but I played through all 3 principal storylines now. New Game Plus is a godsend in that game. I don't ever imagine picking up Fire Emblem 3 Houses again. I played it in every conceivable manner that I think I could want to. I loved it. And that's it. That's, I'm good. This is a game that, after playing through multiple times, even the expansions, I might keep because, again, I have a 4-year-old son who absolutely loves a lot of these characters. BP in the house. There we go. That's my guy.
Greetings, my friends. Wakanda has faced many. I've come to escort the Winter Soldiers. My most trusted warriors, the Dora Milaje. What is this saying?
Oh, whenever they say Dora on this, yeah. Well, I'm going to end my midday stream there, but I wanted to say to you guys, Ben and I launched this channel about a week ago. There's already some 3,000 or whatever hours of our content watched in a week, and we haven't even started refining our process and amping up our process or pushing the channel, really. I mean, we haven't even really been sharing it via social media personally, because we just wanted to get a feel for whether we liked or how much we enjoyed doing streaming and how much we enjoyed discussing games or reviewing games. And I have to tell you guys, it has been a load of fun to be able to do this. And when I say to be able to do this, obviously, yeah, YouTube is a free platform, but I mean, this is the first time personally in the Tiger's Den here we've even had internet that is stream capable. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. Subscribe if you guys want to see other videos we're doing. There will be more reviews coming. We'll try to keep it current with games that we do, so I'm not going to be reviewing like Dragon Quest Builders 2, because that game's been out for a while, so I feel like it's been pretty much covered in the ground. But we'll try to keep it pretty relevant. And Ben does Magic the Gathering streams 2 times a week. So yeah, if you guys like the stuff that we're saying, or you just want to hang out with us, give us a subscribe, give us a like. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I absolutely love midday streaming and hanging out with people on the interwebs. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.